Okay, as promised, I was going to show you how to make some moonshine. Like I said before, it's perfectly legal to make moonshine in Canada, so this video in no way violates any laws. Um, as long as you don't sell the stuff, you're okay. There are even all the brewing places, like beer making supplies and wine making supplies. They sell everything you need to make moonshine and to flavor it, that sort of thing. The number one thing you want to get at these places is distiller's yeast, which is the best yeast for producing lots of alcohol from sugar. This here is actually called Liquor Quick. It's a super yeast. It's a very fast yeast. Takes between 3 to 7 days, depending on your temperature. And I've already done the math. This is enough yeast to do like 200 gallons. And what I'm going to do is, I've already done the math. Like I said, I need 250 grams of yeast for 13 kilograms of sugar, which is about 28 pounds or something, to 40 liters of water, minimum. Or, yeah, minimum. It can be more water. It won't affect anything. Just means you're going to have to distill out more water. So that's what we've got going. Here is my brewing vessel. It's a 10-gallon coffee urn. It's actually a double wall thermos, and it's been cleaned today and sanitized. You should just follow any practices that are like making beer or wine. Same practices. However, I will say this about making moonshine or spirits. It's not nearly as important with spirits to be all that clean, because bacteria doesn't have time to grow when you're brewing high alcohol sort of stuff. Mostly the yeast will get its job done, and then you'll distill it long before any really bad bacteria has a chance to grow. And in the end, you're actually boiling the stuff and distilling it, so you're leaving behind all the bad things anyway, the poisons or anything that may be created in the process, and you're just taking out the alcohol and a little bit of water. So the worst thing that can be created from it is usually methyl alcohol, and if you just follow the general rule of getting rid of that first 2%, you'll be fine. That gets rid of the essential oils and any methanol, and usually you're just left behind with the ethanol, which is the stuff you want. So anyway, this is how you mix it up. You just get yourself warm water. It should be like 80 degrees Fahrenheit, and get in all that sugar in there. It's roughly, I'm making about 9 gallons of a mix, and it's a 10-gallon urn, so that gives me a little airspace for the expansion. There is an expansion process because alcohol doesn't take up as much room as, or is not as dense as water, and so it does expand. And also you need a little bit of room for the yeast to foam up a little bit, so that it doesn't all come out of the top tube. Anyway, this is how it goes. Alright, so I've got about 25 pounds of sugar in there, and 9 gallons of water, and sometimes it helps to dissolve the sugar in a like 1 gallon, 2 gallon pot with some warm water. Makes it easier to mix it up. The situation here was it was a really old bag of sugar that was kicking around. The bag was just gone, and so I had to pick the whole bag up and pour it in there just so I wouldn't get sugar everywhere. So anyway, so what I got to do now is I just got to stir it up here, and as soon as that's dissolved, I get the yeast in there. I should have this about 85-90 degrees. Put my thermometer in there and just check, see where that goes. Yeah, it's almost dead on. It's like just under 90 degrees Fahrenheit, which is ideal. You don't want it hotter than that; it'll kill your yeast. It won't kill it all, but it will kill off a lot, and it'll just slow down the process. You want just a wonderful environment for that yeast as soon as you put it in there, and it'll get the job done faster. You're trying to get it done in 4 days or so. So I'm just going to keep stirring here, and I'll get back to you. Okay, so now I'm just measuring out my yeast, and I need about between 2 and 250 grams. Okay, a little over 200, a little extra for good measure. I'm just going to take this lovely yeast, and we're going to throw it in our pot. So now we just mix this yeast in there, and we just give it a good stir for about 10 minutes. Get everything all working, and close her up. So I just have to seal this up now. I've got it's like a big O-ring. It's getting kind of old, and I just want to make sure it's a good seal, so I take a bit of shortening and I just put it around the rim. Just you can use anything thick and oily, any kind of grease. But you want something that's edible. You don't want to put poisonous car grease or something like that on there. Then I get that O-ring on there. Give it a little spin. Then I put a little more on top. Just get that so you can get a good seal. You gotta remember, shortening is plant-based and lard is animal-based. Don't use anything animal-based. So here's my lid, and it's got a hose that comes off the top, and I don't have one of those bubbler things, so all I do is I put a little bit of water in this and coil it up a little bit. So there it is, just a little coil of clear hose with a bit of water in it, a couple different loops, and as it bubbles around the water, this does two things: keeps bugs from getting in and flies and things, and it also lets you know when it's working and when it's done working, so when it's done you can distill it. So that's all there is for now. Just have to let it sit, right, bub? Right? Yeah, he's going to wait. See, in 4 or 5 days, maybe 7 or 8 days even. Just depends on how cold the house is, and this time of year the house is kind of cool because we don't start fires, but it's getting late in the year, so I'll get back to you in a few days on this one.